Hey everybody, thanks for the comments on the last one. I think I found the way to fix my blocking problem. I went to the locations and then I went to tools and it gave me this option for a track blocking order. When I clicked on that, it listed all my locations, my spurs, and I could move them up or down. So basically I moved Miller Distribution ahead of ITT Grinnell, spot 2 and spot 1. I think I actually need to move, let's see, I think I need to move spot 1 up. And then I can, anyhow, I'm going to try it like this, running trains and see if that fixed it. So I had to do that for the Miller Distribution, ITT Grinnell spur, and for the Team Track and General Chemical. Wherever already had spotted right somehow. I don't know how. But anyhow, I will build a train when I get back from Indiana and see if this fixed my problem. Thanks for the suggestions again, and now let's get into switching part 2. Okay, so here's the next thing I need to figure out. If you notice in the middle of the page where it says scheduled work, it has me picking up the gondola from Union Spring and then picking up a boxcar from wherever, then going back to set a gondola at Union Spring and then set a boxcar at wherever. And that's not how it should work. I should get all my Union Spring work done first and then go over and do my wherever work, because they're actually on opposite sides of the main line. I don't have to do a runaround, so it makes sense to do both of those, before I have to do a runaround, but it doesn't make sense to do it this way. So now I have to figure that one out. Hey everybody, I'm in Princeton, Indiana for the week. It's beautiful blue skies, but it's only about 18 degrees. It's kind of cold. Anyhow, this is the restored Princeton Depot. Very, very active line, as you've seen. I've shot lanes. So the line right next to me, immediately to my right, is CSX X Chicago and Eastern Illinois, and the line on the other side is Norfolk Southern, and that's the I don't know what they call it, the Northern Division or something. It goes from Louisville to St. Louis, and both of these are very busy lines. They both serve the Toyota plant, which is a few miles south of here. There's actually a diamond around the curve up there where I've set videotape trains before. If I pan around here, so this is looking west. I was looking east before. I think this trailer is really cool. This is where the CSX sort of like, there's a little yard office here, so you see where it says B&O on it. I drove by this thing probably 100 times and never noticed that. But anyhow, another thing, I have to be careful in the ice and snow here. Don't want to. This platform is kind of uneven. First time I saw this was in the 80s, and it wasn't restored like this. They have a really cool Wabash caboose that they've restored on the siding here. And this is now a museum. The depot is now a museum. So we'll sort of walk around it a little bit. And then I'll just tack this onto a train video so you can see it. It's mainly a railroad museum. I think there's also some local history here too. So maybe I can shoot in the window a little bit. Yeah, it's closed today. So anyhow, just thought I would share this, and I said I'll tack it onto a train video. Well, I'm in the hotel room in Princeton. Thought I'd show you what I brought to work on, especially because it's supposed to snow anywhere from 6 to 12 inches starting tonight and all day through tomorrow. So I'm not sure if the plant will be open or not. Might be working from the hotel room, but we might actually be sort of semi-stranded here, even though I do have a four-wheel drive vehicle. I'm sure I can get out and get something to eat. I mean, there's McDonald's within walking distance if I need to do it. So you can see I brought some cars to do the coupler conversion on, or the putting the rubber band in the spring. I brought some styrene, and that's the Oak Hill Brickyard I'm remodeling. That's the footprint of the warehouse, and I've got the footprint of the loading dock too. So I can, I've got some regular plain styrene. I can start working on that. I've got the yard office in Chillicothe, and also some grooves, siding, and those kits that I bought. So I'm going to try to work on the yard office this week too. I brought my little patterns, so in case I want to convert some more of those gondolas over, I can, because I'm planning on putting all my gondolas this week to the rubber band and the coupler. Have my scale ruler in here. I just had this like Tupperware shoebox. I just filled it up. You can do that with N scale. If this was O scale, I wouldn't have much to work on. I want to talk a little bit about some errors. So the Norfolk Southern line that I talked about was not the northern lines, it was the western lines is what the Southern called it. So it does run from, basically it goes from Danville, Kentucky up to where it splits off the CN, O, and TP, and it goes through Louisville, and then it cuts across southern Indiana, and then southern Illinois, and goes to St. Louis. It's a very active line. It's really interesting because it's really up and down, and you think of Indiana as flat, and southern Indiana is not flat. There's a couple tunnels. There's a huge, a big tunnel right when it comes up out of the river valley from the Ohio River. There's another one that they daylighted. There's this huge cut. I guess, I don't know if that's in the 90s or whatever. But anyhow, it's a pretty interesting line. Very curvy, very hilly. The depot that I was at was the C and EI depot. The Southern depot was actually a couple blocks away, and it was the Southern used to split a little bit east of town, and the freight, I assume, went to the yard, which is where the shops were. They had a turntable, a roundhouse, so they had some car shops here in Princeton. And then they crossed the Diamond and ran up in front of this depot. But the passenger line split off east of town and did some street running on a street in Princeton, and then joined back up. And of course, it had another Diamond. It had to cross over the C and EI again. The only way I found that out was I was looking for benchmarks in town. I used to do a lot of geocaching, and a sidebar that I was looking for benchmarks, and I found this description of the benchmark said it was so and so many feet from the Southern Railway Depot platform, and I went there and it was just a vacant lot. So I went to the library. You know how I like to do research. I went to the library and found an old map of Princeton, and it showed where the depot was, and that it showed that it used to have street running there. So very few remnants of it. If I can, I'll try to show you when I'm here. My plan coming over here today was to try to show you some abandoned lines, but there's still some ice and snow on the roads from the last storm they had, and up here in Indiana, those county roads get really slippery because the wind just blows the snow across them, and they're like skating rinks. So I just didn't feel it was safe to do that. So I'll do that another time. There's a couple of really interesting abandoned lines I can follow and sort of show you what's left of them. So that's about it for now. I will edit the switching video part 2, and I will post it probably tomorrow night. So keep me in your thoughts, because I may be snowed in here and picking out a McDonald's. That's the only thing I can get to. So stay safe, everybody.